Let's go into more detail on those four big real estate buying mistakes that you were talking about earlier.
Okay, so the first is someone kind of just gets a fire underneath them and says, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to go quick, go to whatever mortgage broker, bank I can, get a mortgage, get it, go buy a place.
Yeah.
But what they didn't actually realize beforehand, if they did their homework and actually sat down with a professional and did some financial planning, is that they're going to have to realize that, touching back on what I said, is what is your income coming in? What are your expenses going out? Right? It's one thing to have, well, I already pay rent. You know, I live in Vancouver in my condo to rent downtown, and well, it might as well be a mortgage payment. That's why I decided to go buy a house. But a big mistake people make is they don't add in a lot of those other things that we talked about. Property taxes, your house insurance, okay? The municipal expenses that might come in for garbage collection, water, what have you. Any other maintenance or upkeep on it. If you live in a condominium, there's going to be strata. If there's an unexpected expense that comes, we have to do a building envelope, it's a leaky condo, or we have to replace the windows, or a pipe burst and we have to redo our underground parking, whatever it is, okay? Same thing happens on the other side if you have a single detached home. My roof is leaking. I bought an old character home and maybe it has knob and tube wiring, I need to upgrade it. What have you, the list goes on and on. Are you prepared to deal with that? That is a huge thing, and that comes into the first cornerstone that we have developed, that when we look at a client situation, we look at 4 key areas, and it's going to be liquidity, retirement, income protection, and financial security in the event that you weren't with us.
So liquidity,
retirement, financial security, and income protection.
Oh, okay.
So the first one we want to look at is a huge mistake is people don't give themselves enough liquidity. And liquidity is you have cash on hand to be able to handle things like A, opportunities, or B, emergencies.
Okay.
Both of them are going to come at us the highway of life. If we knew they were coming, they wouldn't be an emergency and they wouldn't be an opportunity. Most of those things kind of surprise us. So not putting in enough savings in place to be able to deal with those things. Not being able to make a proper budget that has the flexibility to deal with not only the mortgage payment, but a lot of the other expenses that come with it.
Yeah.
And when time and time again, you'll see people that kind of rush into it, have maybe chosen someone unlike yourself, who's maybe not the most client-focused realtor, or maybe focused on themselves, that may rush them into something that they probably aren't ready for. Okay? How are they going to deal with it? Well, they're going to have to deal with it by paying, and they won't be able to take care of some of the other things that are so important to being a homeowner. Saving, planning for the future. Understanding that a house is a physical structure exposed to the elements just like anything else. You're going to have to do upkeep. You're going to have to do maintenance. Okay? So those are big mistakes when someone rushes in and doesn't actually plan.
So we covered the liquidity. And what was the second one?
The second one would be retirement. Which isn't the biggest focus when you first buy a house, but it is a huge component to someone's financial plan. And often at times you don't want to rush into purchasing real estate, because your average person, unless you're an extremely high net worth individual, your middle class and upper middle class, and even some of the other ones, the biggest component that makes up someone's net worth is going to be a piece of real estate. In often cases, it's the most expensive asset that someone will buy, and it's the most expensive asset to actually maintain over the course of time. So it is one of the biggest decisions of your life, other than, getting married, where do I go to school, do I have kids, this is the house I live in, right? Huge thing. So one of the major mistakes is, 1, rushing into it unprepared.
That's right.
2, not having enough liquidity in place to handle being a homeowner, all the other expenses and opportunities that kind of come up along there, right? Say you're in an area where a zoning bylaw was to change, and now you're allowed to build a laneway home. That's a great opportunity in order to increase the value of your property, but also be able to generate now a secondary source of income. Okay? If you're not equipped to handle that when it's hot, you're behind. Every year that goes by that you have to then save up in order to do that, or go out there and access more lending to do so, is you fell behind that opportunity and your rate of return is kind of slowly lagging because you weren't able to act when you needed to. Okay. The reason someone wouldn't be able to do that is because they didn't plan. Now all of their cash flow that we talked about before, income versus expenses, is probably all their income is going towards those expenses, or they have a thin sliver of money left over. They didn't plan, and you want to make sure that the house that you're in, talking to someone like a realtor like yourself, you'll be able to get, well, what were they paying in utilities? What was their last year's property tax? How has it grown in value over the last time? And now every time I get an assessment, how is my property tax going to grow along the way? They can get all that information from a good qualified realtor who actually cares about the person. They take that information, bring it to me, and I can get the calculator out and do all the math and say, hey, look, here's your options. Maybe that is a bit too rich of a piece of real estate for you. Maybe you want to look at something more in this area in order for them to stay true to their financial plan and their goals. Okay. Another huge mistake.
So number 3.
This is number 3. Yeah.
Number 1 is rushing too fast.
Number
2 is not
understanding what goes into planning and cash flow and all that stuff. Number 3 would be you want to take a look at if the mortgage that you're in is too expensive, if the municipality that you're in is constantly raising things. It's unavoidable. I've never once in the history of humans have you seen tax go down.
Yes.
Right? So march to Ottawa, or Victoria. But another thing that you want to consider is, and what a lot of people right now that are in their more senior years, so a little juvenile for someone that is just buying a home. But what we see there is that they brought a house back in the 60s or the 70s for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. That is now, especially here in the Vancouver marketplace. Very similar in Toronto and Montreal marketplaces as well, but primarily Vancouver now is worth this huge 7-figure sum, and they're actually not able to afford some of the property taxes and upkeep and things like that as they come, especially on a pensioner's income. How is your income? Is it fixed? Is it kind of going to stay where it is? Other things to consider as well is not looking at today, but moving forward and talking to a professional advisor like myself who does the planning. We'll be able to kind of see that because they have clients that are possibly you in 10 or 15 years from now. We can kind of run back on either side of the mountain, okay? And then the last and final one is, where are you at in terms of family planning? Are you a single person? Is this a house that you're buying to live in as a primary residence? Or is this maybe an investment play? If it's an investment play, that's fine, okay? But if you're actually living in this as your primary residence, who is going to be part of your life, or who do you plan to have part of your life? You want a lot of kids, and you want to have to move later and deal with all that, selling the home, all the costs associated with that. Maybe kind of wait a little bit and equip yourself for something that's going to last you a little bit longer, okay? Because people talk a lot about maybe there's a housing correction, maybe it's going to come. Oh, the governments have put on foreign buyer taxes to cool the top end, and all these things. Sure, they're happening, but needless to say, real estate has never really gone down, except there was maybe a time in the in the 90s when they were cooled off, maybe in the 70s, but there was a lot of other economical and societal factors that played into that. Moving forward, especially here in BC, we have a thriving economy. Over the last however many years, we and powers that be have done an amazing job at creating a huge thriving economy, one of the leading ones in Canada. One of the best thriving economies within North America. It's not just what people think it is, foreign buyers coming in and inflating the market and speculation and all. It's not. It's the fact that this is just a huge thriving economy and people want to come here. I mean, it's beautiful. Like, I love living here, and I would tell everyone to come here. Or that house that you think you'll want, it's going to get a lot more. So plan it out, be perfect, and get into that piece of real estate that you think will serve you for a longer period of time as your primary residence. Don't rush into it. Find the right one. There's tons out there. There's lots of inventory. You go ask, look at your inventory, look at the inventory of the people in your firm, any realtor out there. There's billions of inventory available, right? So you're not at a lack of time. It goes quick. Don't get me wrong. Like, things are going quick these days, but there's a lot of inventory out there. So,
Okay, thanks, Stephen.
No worries. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, guys, for watching my video. Please subscribe and share with your friends. Email me if you have any more questions. Thank you.